Hey everybody, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger bringing you, as always, keto without the crazy. Please stay tuned all the way to the end. I have a very important announcement, but I don't want to delay the topic of this video too long by sharing it with you here at the beginning. I will say though, just a reminder, if you are a fan of keto without the crazy, we have a merch store. Don't forget, coffee mugs, I've seen pictures of you on social media sporting your keto without the crazy coffee mugs. I love it. We've had a lot of positive feedback on the sweatshirts. They are really, really soft and warm and cozy. I know I'm publishing this video in August, but it's not always going to be warm. It's going to be winter again eventually, actually kind of soon. So anyway, check out the merch store. There's a link in the notes. Let's talk about weekends. I'm going to just hypothetically out there, I wonder if anyone watching this video has no problem sticking to keto Monday through Friday. You do great, on plan, 100%, life is great, and then the weekend comes and the wheels fall off the wagon, as they say. Keto just goes out the window and you are very, very far off the map. I'm sure that none of you relate to that, right? No one has trouble staying on plan on the weekends, right? But just in case, hypothetically, if this is an issue, first I want to say, as I often do, that this is very, very common. And there's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. And the reason I go out of my way to say that when I talk about the different kinds of struggles that people have on a keto or low carb carnivore diet, whatever variation of carbohydrate restriction you're doing, is because I think it just helps us take the temperature down. It helps get rid of the drama and the shame and the self-loathing and the what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Everyone else has it figured out. No, they don't have it figured out. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. So let's talk about how to stay on plan. It is very, very common for people to find it more difficult to stay on plan on the weekends, but we have to find a way to do it. Otherwise, we're going to be trapped in this cycle of being really, really, good and committed and dedicated to plan during the week, and then off the rails on the weekend, and that whole 2 or 3 steps forward, 1 step back. And that makes it a lot harder to get where you want to go. When for every 2 or 3 steps forward, you're taking 1 or 2 back, you're doing that little dance, and you're not really making as much progress as you could be. So I mean, let's first talk about why it's harder to stay on plan on weekends. And some of you have no problem. Some of you, it's not an issue, no problem. I hope you stay till the end of this video anyway for that announcement. But if you have a traditional Monday to Friday type job, then you are probably in a pretty solid routine, a routine that's almost the exact same those 5 days of the week. You get up at the same time of day. You probably eat the same exact breakfast if you have breakfast. You maybe have the same lunch, or you go to the same place for lunch. You eat around the same time. If you go to a gym or something, maybe you go to the gym right after work or before work, whatever it is. The point is, you have a very set, rote routine during the week. And the same could be true those of you that have young kids. If your kids are in school, or if they have various activities during the week, we go to soccer practice every day at 3, or I drop the kids off every day at 7:30, like whatever it is. For some of you, not all, I'll get to the rest of you in a minute. For some of you, you just have that very programmatic, formulaic routine during the week, and your weekends are harder to stick to keto just because it's so different. You're not in your normal routine. So, it's not like there's not some huge, daunting, dangerous, crazy reason why it's harder to stay on plan. You're just out of your normal thing that you kind of have pre-programmed in. For those of you that don't have kids, or maybe your kids are older, or you don't work a Monday to Friday job, or whatever, It can be harder to stay on plan on weekends regardless of an employment situation or your family obligations, because during the weekends is when more unexpected things tend to pop up, especially social things involving food. You might get a last minute invitation. Oh, that hey, the neighbor wants to meet for, happy hour on their porch tonight, or oh, my husband said let's go out to eat tonight instead of cooking, or whatever, right? Going to a baseball game, going to a movie, or just maybe something that is a little bit more out of the ordinary for you, and or just last minute things come up. So that's no problem. It is no problem that these things happen. We just have to be prepared with a type of strategy ahead of time. We can't let unexpected things derail us every time they come up, or good luck. Good luck losing weight, good luck reversing your diabetes or prediabetes, good luck reversing fatty liver, all the things. So the good news about the weekend, there's great news actually. The good news about the weekend is that it's never a surprise. It literally comes like clockwork. Every 7 days, there's the weekend again. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. Didn't see that coming. You know it's coming. Every single week, there's going to be another weekend. It's going to be Friday night. It's going to be Saturday morning, right? So it never catches you off guard. It never comes out of nowhere. You know it's coming. Plan for it. Now, I have some notes, heaven forbid. So, when I say plan ahead, I will give you some specific suggestions here that may or may not apply to your situation, but you can take the general principles and fit them to whatever your situation is. One example is you and your family, if you have a family, or maybe it's just you probably have a handful of restaurants that you go to. Maybe it's rare for you to go to a brand new place. You tend to go to the same, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 places every week, month. Whenever you go out, you tend to go to the same places. Great. Then you're already really familiar with their menus, right? You already know what they have. It's not like you're going to sit down like, what am I going to have tonight? I've only been here 17 times. If you know they have an amazing Cobb salad, get the Cobb salad, no croutons. If you know that they make a killer steak, get the steak and have a non-starchy vegetable instead of a potato. Whatever it is, you know what these places have. So you could come up with a kind of protocol ahead of time. When I go to such and such restaurant, I will choose from these 3 entrees that I know are keto and I know I do really well with them. Or, if you don't want to get that specific, say, I'm going to have a salad. I'm going to have a steak. Maybe you don't know exactly which one from their menu, but something that is suitable for you. Another tip that I've given some clients is let's say you plan to relax things a little on the weekend. Maybe you're not going to be 100% keto. Maybe you're still going to be fairly low carb. You're not going to have a total blowout, but you've given yourself permission in advance to maybe for 1 or 2 meals during that whole weekend to relax a little bit. I think you could plan ahead, and very depending on the type of establishment you're going to and what the situation is, you can have bread or dessert, but not both. Choose one. Right? If you have one dessert, one day of the week, you're still kind of on a really low carb diet. Now, of course, if you have epilepsy, if you consider yourself a sugar addict, if you are dealing with some severe medical issue where that one dessert could actually be a huge problem, don't do it. This is just one example of a way to navigate something that may come up on the weekend. And of course, this could come up anytime you dine out, so it's not just weekends, but that either or. If you really like that warm, fresh bread that they bring at X restaurant, then you can have the bread or dessert, not both. Same thing with alcohol. I mean, wine, the fact is, you can have alcohol and still do great on keto. Like there's a lot of alcohol options that are very, very low carb. So having alcohol doesn't even mean that you're cheating or eating something high carb, but calorie wise, metabolism wise, you might not want to have so much alcohol. So, but maybe you want a drink or two on the weekend. Maybe you just, what, that's your thing. You can have bread or wine, not both. Or you can have wine or dessert, not both. You see, it's just that mix and match swap game. If you decide ahead of time that you're going to relax a little bit, not a lot. And the little bit would be that trade-off, that either or. And let's say maybe this week you're going to have the wine and not the bread. Maybe next week you opt for the bread instead of the wine. You know, there's a different ways to do this. There's no right or wrong. And am I encouraging you out there to have the wine or to, well, everyone knows I'm a wine lover, so it's a bit of a fraught topic, but am I encouraging you to have that? Am I encouraging you to have the dessert or the bread or the whatever? No, I'm saying if that's something you are choosing to do anyway, let's reduce the likelihood that it's going to be a problem in terms of your goals, right? Let's keep, and this is the wrong way to phrase it, but I'll say it anyway. Let's keep the damage to a minimum, metabolically speaking. So, and that also, if you have a plan ahead of time, and if you stick to it, I mean, that's the hardest part, is whatever you decide, I'm going to order this or this, I'm going to have the wine and not the bread, whatever you decide, you then have to stick to it. You can't go into that establishment and then forget all the, you know, guardrails that you put into place for yourself. So what did I leave hanging there? I know I left like a sentence unfinished there and I don't remember what it was. Yeah, another thing is to forget all of this and do whatever you want on the weekend, but then you have to accept the consequences of doing that. If you decide to be off the map, dietarily speaking, every weekend, or most of the weekend, then you have to accept responsibility for the fact that you probably won't be losing weight, that your blood sugar will still be out of control, that your blood pressure will still be out of control, that your joint pain and brain fog and acid reflux might not go away. So nobody is your food police, me especially. You get to do whatever you want, but you have to accept the consequences of doing whatever you want. Now, let me see if I forgot anything important. Yeah, I talked about restaurants, but having a plan or a protocol decided on ahead of time really applies to anything. Let's say, like I mentioned a baseball game earlier. I'm not a baseball fan. I love me some hockey. So let's say you're going to some sporting event and they sell the usual stuff. Maybe they say, you know, peanuts and hot dogs and beer and nachos and whatever. Go in ahead of time knowing I'm gonna get a hot dog without the bun, period, end of story. Or I'm not going to eat anything. Maybe I'm just going to watch the game, or I'll get a diet soda. I'll get a light beer. I'll get a glass of wine. They serve wine at a lot of these stadiums now. Don't ask me how I know. But yeah, let's say you go shopping. Let's say you go to the mall. I mean, malls are kind of on the decline here in, you know, the suburban United States, but they still exist. Let's say you're going to the mall. Decide ahead of time if you're going to eat anything at all. If you do, what's it going to be? Is it going to be the Chinese place? Is it going to be the hot dog stand? Is it going to be the burger place? Is it going to be whatever else Indian, I don't know, whatever else they may have. And what are you going to get? If you go to the Chinese place, will you get the chicken and broccoli, no sauce, no rice? You know what I mean? No matter where you're going, you can have something in mind, something safe, you know, keto safe wise. You can give yourself some options, like I know at these couple of restaurants or these places in the food court, I can get these things and it's fine. Or if you don't want to get that specific, because at least even if you don't stick to that, if you have those options in mind, at least you know there are options. You don't have to eat, French fries and one of those big pretzel things because there was nothing else. There's a million other things that are available to you that are very low in carbs. You just have to decide to get those and not opt for all the high carb stuff. But so I like for people to at least give that some thought. Get that specific in your mind so that you have those options. But if you don't, maybe you go to the mall or you go to the game or you go to whatever, and you only know you're staying on plan. That's the decision you've made. You don't know what you're going to eat, but you are staying on keto. No matter what happens, no matter where you go, you will either find something that is strict keto or you will not eat. I don't know. Maybe you'll sit there and have a glass of tea or a cup of coffee or something, So that's good enough too. Making the decision and honoring that commitment to yourself that you don't know what you're going to eat, but it's going to be keto. Right? All right. Maybe that's enough. Yeah, past 16 minutes, that's probably enough. I just wanted to put that out there because I do know that weekends can trip people up. You do really well during the week, and then like again, your schedule or lack thereof really is just so different on the weekends that things just get a little crazy. But another way around that I don't want to open up a whole, another 10-minute can of worms, is to just always have food with you. So you are never in a pinch where you're absolutely ravenous and there's nothing around and you won't be home for another 40 minutes. Carry 0 sugar meat sticks in your purse or briefcase or pocket or glove box or something. Keep some pork rinds in the trunk of your car. Like, you think I'm kidding? Set yourself up for success. Don't make excuses, find solutions. There's always a way around things. Keep a little bag, a little bag of nuts in your purse or gym bag, your briefcase, your whatever, backpack, wherever you're going. Always have suitable things on hand. All right. I am sure that when I stop recording this, I will remember some really critical thing that I forgot, but let's not worry about that right now. Here is the message that I wanted to share with you. Did you know that I'm on Patreon? Patreon, Patreon. There's a link in the notes. For those of you who know what Patreon is, I'm on Patreon in case you didn't know. If you don't know what Patreon is, I'll give you the very, very nutshell version. It is a platform by which you can subscribe for a fee, for a cost, to support people whose work you like, appreciate, enjoy, need. And there's different levels, and depending on what level you subscribe to, you get access to different types of content. And Patreon runs the gamut. There's poets on there. There's ceramics makers. There's, content like keto influencer people. There's people that sew, quilters, people that make material, tangible goods. So I'm on there, and I would very, very much love to build a keto without the crazy community. I know that there is a need for it because the keto landscape right now is so different from when I got started in it over 15 years ago. I can't imagine being brand new to low carb or keto in 2024. I really can't. I wouldn't have the slightest clue where to start, who to trust, what to read, what to watch. It would be so overwhelming. And if that's where you are, I'm so over it. There's so much information. Everybody says something different. I'm terrified to eat because everything is poisonous. I've done videos on that, right? Lectins and oxalates and goitrogens and the soybean oil. I'm just going to starve because there's nothing to eat anymore. If you are looking for an oasis of sanity in the madness that keto has become, then I welcome you to join my Patreon, and I encourage you to check out the tiers, see what's available. There is a fee, but you get exclusive content that is not available to the general public. You get live, you'll see the different things that are available. There's live sessions with me. You get discounts if you want to book a private consultation. You get early access to these videos. there's just some cool stuff there. And I just know based on the comments that you leave and on the emails that I get from people who want consultations, there is a huge need for someone who is dedicated to keeping this all simple and uncomplicated, and who refuses to engage in hyperbole and alarmism and sensationalism. And I admit, once in a while, I post a clickbait YouTube video title. I did that one as Protein Ruining Your Keto Diet. Once in a while, I do it. And lo and behold, I get several thousand more views than usual, but I feel kind of cringy doing that. Anyway, the point is, I really do think that with how insane it's all become the last few years, that what I do is more needed than ever. And if you agree, and if you value what I do, and you want to support me and help me to keep doing this, and to help me keep being this very lone, very rare voice of calm and realism and logic in all this, then please do check out my Patreon and subscribe if you are so inclined. Again, there is a link in the notes. There's no long-term commitment. It is a monthly thing. So join for, a few weeks, 2-3 months. If you don't like it, if it's not a good fit, you can cancel at any time. But I certainly hope you don't cancel. I hope that you find it valuable and helpful. And whether you join Patreon or not, thanks for watching this one. I'll see you next time. And until that next time, keep the crazy out of your keto.